Hi everyone, my name is Frank Barat. I work at the Transnational Institute in Amsterdam. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for not being able to be with you today, but I'm glad I get the chance to give you a brief introduction in the work that TNI has been doing. I'll try to be very short because I know these recorded video presentation can be quite annoying and boring. So I'll try to make this exciting. So the work of TNI in terms of shrinking space started about a year ago when we published a paper identifying the current trends in shrinking space for civil society. We've identified 10 trends, and I'll just list them quickly for you now. Obviously, if you want to know more, check our website, tni.org, where you'll find the paper, the more detailed paper online. So there's trends like philanthropic protectionism. We've identified, obviously, domestic laws that are regulating activities of non-profits. There's also policies and practices that are imposing restrictions on the right of freedom and assembly of association. There's the criminalization, dehumanization, and delegitimization of human rights defenders. We've identified also the restriction of freedom of expression in general and online, of intimidations and attacks against civil society by far-right corporations and non-state actors are more and more frequent nowadays. And we're seeing also a decreasing space for online activism. Another trend is the capture of spaces that are traditionally inhabited by civil society organizations, by private interest groups, lobbyists, and government-orientated NGOs. And finally, we're seeing more and more often the exclusion of civil society organizations from the banking system under the guise of counter-terrorism measures. And this is a trend, especially this one, that we've seen happening more and more also throughout Europe. I just wanted to mention also that these papers and these trends I've just talked about were after consultation with many groups and many different sort of activists from actually all over the world during a meeting, a closed workshop we held in Berlin in October 2016. So this was from a consultation with various activists and civil society organizations. So what are we doing now as TNI? We first tried to organize this type of short meetings, closed meetings and workshops for people to be able to share their stories. And we think it's a very important point. And people often feel they are isolated and they are the only one victims of what's happening to them, and they don't know what to do about it. So a first step was for us to put these people together in a safe space where they could share their stories with other people. And we've experienced like really interesting sort of moments where people from various parts of the world were realizing that what was happening to them was happening to others in other parts of the world, maybe in different ways, but that the trend and the pattern of repression was the same. So sharing these stories was very important. And the next step for us was also to identify 10, 15, 20 of these stories, or case studies, if you want to call them this way, and to go talk to the people that are the first victims of repression. So the people really on the front lines, the people that are fighting for the land, that are fighting for their survival. Because what we think at TNI is important to do is to give these people a voice. And we think that people that have struggled for 10, 15, 20 years against the state, against the corporations, are the best placed to defend themselves and to know how to defend themselves and to know what type of solidarity we should show them. So we've experienced, and we organized such meetings in Berlin, Amsterdam, Brussels, in Rome, in Hamburg during the G20, and we've started working on articles that you can find also online at tni.org, and a couple of papers around the criminalization of refugee solidarity, We're working also a paper on the criminalization of the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which is a movement that targets Israel. And we're going to work on more and more papers in the forthcoming months. Again, I'm trying to be short and I'm missing a lot of things. So please do check our website, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up properly one day. What can be done? I think working together is a crucial point. Big NGOs, smaller groups, charities, movements, if allowed, should be able to sort of work together, strategize together, and have a common front and a common action points to be able to defeat what's happening in terms of the really shrinking space. But I mean, when we're talking about shrinking space, I think the more political word would be the repression and the violence exerted towards human rights defenders, activists, and civil society organizations. So to have common goals and actions and to show solidarity with the ones that need it the most is something crucial that we've tried to do in the last year or so. Also, we're trying through those meetings and workshops to build a network of solidarity, but also of knowledge. And because different groups we would have different tactics on how to respond to violence and repression that they can then share with others. So having these, sort of pool of knowledge put together and is very important and can be very useful for various groups around the world. I'm not sure how long I've spoken for, but I'm going to conclude by saying that even though states, corporations, and often the media is trying to demonize us and also make us feel isolated, we are seeing more and more that we're not isolated. There are a lot of us around, that we are actually the 99%, and that by being united and by showing solidarity with each other, we can actually make a difference and hopefully build a better society and a better future for the next generations. So thank you again. I hope this was sort of hope I was sort of clear, even if it's hard for me to just speak to my iPhone. I'll see you soon. Thank you.